So Santarachita, this kind of well-meaning monk, this man who's trying his best, is an image for ourselves. We do want the best for ourselves. We do even want the best for those around us. We mean well, but the monastery that we try to build in our mind, this place of value and meaning, gets taken down at night by the demons, by the forces of our psyche and the forces of the world that we haven't taken into account. So what we need is a new kind of figure. What we need is an ideal kind of figure that we can actually start to approach, that isn't just about good intentions. Yeah? So who we need in this parable is Padmasambhava. Yeah? So the king of Tibet realized, well, Santarachita in the story, he goes to the king of Tibet and he admits defeat. This is quite something in itself. He doesn't blame others, he doesn't blame himself, he just goes to the king of Tibet and admits defeat. And we need to do that. So our good intentions, our first resolves, our intention to go to the gym every day, to cycle to work, to stop smoking, to drink less, to watch less pornography, we're not managing it. Yeah? We need to be able to admit that, at least to ourselves. We need to be honest with ourselves. So you could say that the place you start with meaning and value is being honest with yourself. Now, being honest with yourself is much more difficult than you think. You have to work out what you're saying to yourself, what it means. It's like working out what somebody else means. Being honest with yourself is difficult. But Santarachita is honest with himself and says, look, I'm trying my best, it's not working. The demons of the night time, all those forces, in other words, that I'm not taking into account, are taking down the monastery. So he says who you need is Padmasambhava. That's the person who can do this. I can't do it, you need Padmasambhava. So Padmasambhava, I'm going to talk much more about him, but he appears in pictures and paintings wearing 3 robes. And the robes that he wears tells you about what he represents parabolically, symbolically, poetically. That's his important meaning of the figure. So against his skin, Padmasambhava wears a blue robe. It's sometimes pictured as a blue robe embroidered with dragons. So this is the robe of mystery, of magic. So right close to his skin, he has an understanding of life's deep mystery and magic. He's not separate from that. He's very close to that. And we need that in our life if we're going to make progress. So easy in our life to be cynical, to be overly skeptical, to sort of naysay value and meaning, to think we know things that we don't. We don't know hardly anything at all. So the first thing we need is that blue robe of magic and mystery. And if you can't put that robe on, at least you can wear the robe of I don't know. I don't know. I don't know myself. I don't know my mind. I don't know the world around me. That's a really honest place to start, is I don't know. It's a great place to get. I don't know. I wish more people could just say, tell you what, I don't know. I don't know how to help myself, and tell you what, sometimes I don't know how to help you. Yeah? On top of that blue robe, he wears a yellow robe. This is the patched robe of a monk. And don't worry about the gender of these things. Gender, whatever, it can be the nun if you want it to be. It can be non-gender if you want it to be. The metaphor of the monk's robe is a robe of discipline and restraint. Yeah? This figure is somebody who can discipline himself. I mean discipline in the sense of the discipline of sport, who can train in something that's really valuable, and by training to do this thing, run the London Marathon, I don't know, whatever it is you're training for, by training in this thing, you can think, actually, being up late on the internet is going to kill that, overeating is going to kill that, and so on, yeah? So someone who can train themselves, in this case, particularly train their mind. But you can't train yourself unless you have right next to your skin a sense that life is magical and mysterious and meaningful, that embroidered dragon blue robe. On the top of that, you need this robe of I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to try to discipline my life. I'm going to do that sensibly and intelligently and with full cognizance of the demonic forces within me and outside of me, but I'm going to wear that robe. Making sense of the contradiction, because remember that blue robe is also, it's often something like a royal robe. And royalty is always this metaphor of riches, inner majesty. So the blue robe is also a sense of your potential, a sense of your potential human majesty, on top of which is the discipline and restraint and toughness that you need to move towards majesty. But making sense of that contradiction, a royal robe and a beggar's robe of a monk, which is what really a monk's robe is, it's a beggar's robe. Making sense of that is this red robe of compassion. He wears on top of those two robes this red robe of compassion. So his whole kind of intention towards himself and towards the world is one of love, is one of compassion, is one of empathy, but not kind of a sweet, saccharine loveliness, but a courageous going out and facing stuff, a courageous going out and connecting with people, a courageous willingness to take meaning and value into unpropitious conditions. He's going to be courageous and loving enough to go to this incredible landscape of Tibet and take to that inhospitable landscape of our mind the real nature of meaning and value and the real nature of love.